seventh part of this session where I will be telling you how to create a second workflow where we will build Spring Boot application with Gradle and GitHub Action. In the first job, in the second workflow, in the first job, what we are doing is like we are building the Spring Boot application using Gradle tool, which is a build automation tool that is primarily used for Java projects, but it can also be used for building other languages project. It is similar to the Apache Maven and Apache Ant, which is considered to be more expressive, more flexible and easier to use. And we will also be doing here code quality checks using SonarQube. And in the second job, we will be creating a Docker image using Dockerfile. And if the image is vulnerable free or not using, we will first scan the image using Trivy. And if it is vulnerable free, then we will upload the Trivy reports to S3 bucket and push the Docker image to the ECR. Then we will do SSH into the EC2 instance created in AWS and pull the image from the ECR. And then we will do YAML files, scan the YAML files by terrascan, and then deploy the Spring Boot application to Minikam cluster. So as we can see, for this session, we will only be discussing about the first job, build job. So let's quickly go to the pipeline and check step-by-step explanation. So this is the second workflow file, springboot.yaml file. So the above code is, so this is the workflow name, which is Spring Boot application CI and CD. And here this on condition is like repository dispatch. So if I go to the another tab and just open the terraform.yaml file and go to the last of the page, here we can see that the event type is Spring Boot workflow, and here it is the repository dispatch Spring Boot workflow. It means like when the previous workflow will be completed successfully, the Terraform YAML file workflow will execute successfully, then only this will trigger. So here it is written in the comment section that only trigger when the build workflow succeeds. So if the previous workflow succeeds, then only this new workflow will start. So this is the condition. So the first job that we will be covering today is the build job. So here again we have added the permission ID token write and content read. Then this is again running on Ubuntu latest machine, a fresh Ubuntu latest machine. Then the first step is like it checks out the repository where the workflow is defined. In the second step, it uses the AWS action configure token and assume the role in the secrets and AWS region also here. So this is basically what it is doing is like it is checking the token and it is taking the credentials, authenticating with the AWS secrets so that we can do any changes in the AWS account. Then what we are doing is like in the third step, we are installing the JDK 17 on the runner as it is ready to install Gradle as it is dependent on Java. So we have to install Java JDK 7 because the Gradle because the application wants it. Then what we are doing in the fifth and sixth step, we are running Gradle commands to execute permission for Gradle and runs Gradle clean and Gradle build commands to build the Spring Boot application. Then in the next step, what we are doing is like we are getting the public IP of this Ubuntu machine, the GitHub hosted runner Ubuntu machine. We are getting that public IP. Here what we are doing is like the EC2 instance where the SonarQube was installed, right? Yeah, it's like where the SonarQube was installed in the previous step using this shell script command. There what we are doing is like we are whitelisting this IP address, this Ubuntu GitHub hosted IP address. So there with the port 9000 so that this Ubuntu latest machine can access the EC2 instance, anything. Then what we are doing is like we are creating an output in this syntax so that the SonarQube SG ID, security ID, we can use in the other steps in the same job. Then in the next step, what we are getting is like we are getting the retrieving the public IP of the SonarQube instance that here. Then what we are doing is like we are caching the SonarQube packages, Gradle packages, and running this code scan analysis using SonarQube. So here we are passing the project key, as we can see here. We are passing the project key, login key, and URL of the SonarQube. And the code quality analysis report is seen in the SonarQube in port 9000. So basically it is first catching the Gradle packages, catching the SonarQube, and then it is doing, by this command, we are basically doing code analysis test. So I will quickly show you. This is the instance where the SonarQube is running, and if I do 9000, here I can see the SonarQube code quality check analysis. Here we can see that how many code smells are present, security vulnerabilities are present, coverage, duplication, and the code quality check has been passed. So let's go to the last step. So in the last step, we are uploading the directory as an artifact. So so we have built the repository, right? We have built the Spring Boot application. So there is a build file that has got generated. So we will be requiring this build job in the next job. So what we are doing is like we are uploading this build directory into a path and sending, and we can utilize that build thing into another job. So we are uploading the directory as an artifact. Since we are creating another job for deploying Spring Boot application, we need this build directory, which is created by Gradle build. For creating Docker images by Docker file, we need that build. So that's why this build also has a .jar file in it. So that's why we required it. In the next step session, we will see how this build directory is uploaded into the next job. Now we have just uploaded it. So this is all for the 7th part of the session. Thank you.